Hello, my name is Brad Green, and I'm an attorney with the firm of King & Green with offices in Oneonta, Alabama, which is the county seat of Blount County. This video is a little summary about what to expect if you have a civil case in the district court, the circuit court, probate court, or juvenile court of Blount County. This is just designed to be a little bit of an introduction if you are not from Blount County or if you're recently moved to Blount County and you find yourself in a court case up there. This video hopes to give you some idea about just the processes and kind of what to expect. The first thing to think about anytime you get involved in a civil court case is to remain calm and don't focus on worst case scenarios. Just focus on getting good legal advice. Yeah, if you can find a lawyer to help you, the quicker the better. And that lawyer can guide you through what to expect in detail in the facts in your particular case. However, I want to talk about civil actions in Blount County. First of all, I talk about our district court. Our district court in Blount County handles small claims court, district civil matters, child support cases, and those type of child support cases that their case number starts with a CS designation can also involve child custody and visitation issues, not just child support. And so in the district court, if you have a case that says District Court of Blount County and it starts with an SM, a DV, or a CS, that case is going to be heard before Judge Sherry Burns, our district judge. Her courtroom is on the second floor of the Blount County Courthouse in Oneonta. And as you come off the elevator to the top of the stairs to the second floor, her courtroom that she generally sits in will be to your left and down the hall. The circuit court would be to your right. Now, sometimes, depending on the dockets, our judges may swap up and there'll be a little dry erase board out front directing you which courtroom to go. But both courtrooms are on the second floor of the main courthouse. Now, in district civil cases and small claims cases, you are generally not entitled to any type of appointed lawyer in those type of cases, so it's up to you to retain your own or obtain any type of pro bono services from a lawyer. But generally, your first court appearance in front of the judge probably isn't going to be a trial date. It will be an initial court hearing, and it might determine certain temporary things, like in a custody case, one of the CS cases that I mentioned, or in a small claims case, you might be able to settle your case that day, but it probably isn't the trial date. When you're served with a summons in district court in Alabama, in state district court, generally the summons will say that you have 14 days to answer and to file that answer or that responsive pleading with the clerk's office there in the courthouse and provide a copy to the other side. If you don't answer within that time frame, you can be defaulted. The same thing applies in circuit court cases that I'm going to talk about in a minute, except in circuit court cases, the deadline is 30 days from service of the summons and complaint. If you're in a CS case in the district court, it could also be assigned to a referee in Blount County if it's a DHR child support case. Sometimes we employ the use of a referee, and they're like a temporary judge that handles a lot of the DHR child support cases. You can object to a referee hearing your case and ask that the district judge actually hear it as well. But the referees do a very nice job, not just in Blount County, but in other places, and they can sometimes help you resolve your case sooner rather than later. In the circuit court, that's where you're going to find lawsuits over personal injury and workers' compensation cases and divorce cases and modifications of divorce cases. All manner of kind of more serious type civil actions, the petitions involving the sale of real estate, boundary line disputes, any type of civil action that's outside the jurisdictional limit of $20,000 in the district court is going to be in circuit court. We have one circuit judge in Blount County at present. Right now, this is in 2024, and that is Judge Greg Reed is our circuit judge. And Judge Reed has been practicing law prior to his appointment and upcoming election. He's been practicing law for quite a number of years, and he had a general practice in Blount County and has experience with all manner of civil matters as well as criminal matters. So Judge Reed is our circuit judge. Generally, if you have a case in the circuit court, you're in the large courtroom to the right as you come off the stairs, or straight ahead as you come off the elevator on the second floor of the Blount County Courthouse in Oneonta. It's very important in circuit court to remember that there are more rules that come into play in the circuit court that can sometimes make those cases more complicated and honestly more expensive. So if you have something that you're needing to file in the circuit court, if you've been served with some type of complaint or summons and a complaint in the circuit court, it's important that you take that seriously, just as you would if it was small claims court. But I'm letting you know it can be more costly in the circuit court, so it's very important that you get good legal advice. Again, in most civil cases, in the circuit court, no one's entitled to an appointed lawyer in most cases in the circuit court. There are some exceptions to that I really won't get into, but they don't apply except in very limited circumstances. And so it's up to you to either represent yourself or obtain your own counsel through hiring someone or obtaining some type of pro bono services. If you're going to seek pro bono services, the Alabama State Bar Association has a part of their website that can get you in touch. In the Birmingham area, there's something called the Birmingham Volunteer Lawyers Program that's through the Birmingham Bar Association. There's also the Legal Aid Society of Alabama. The YWCA has an office in Blount County that helps people who are the victims of domestic violence obtain representation in certain circumstances like protection orders and the like, family law matters. But that's a process you have to go through that office, or if you're applying through legal services or these other things, you have to take the initiative to apply and see if you qualify. The probate court, which handles civil matters involving the administration of estates of deceased people. It handles commitments of people that are mentally ill. It happens to deal with guardianships and conservatorships a lot, especially of adults who are incapacitated. They also handle a lot of administrative things like the recording of deeds, the recording of affidavits of marriage. We don't do marriage license in Alabama anymore, but there's recording of the affidavits with the probate court. They also handle other matters that are of help to the general public, like driver's license renewals and passport application processes, things like that. But recording of deeds is a big thing in the probate court. They also administer elections. Now in Blount County, the probate court is on the first floor of the courthouse. If you're going to file things, as you come through security, you turn to your right and you will see the probate counter. And if it's some type of court case, it's judicial. If you're going to file land records, you go to recording. And but the folks at the desk at the probate court in Oneonta on the first floor can direct you specifically where to go. They can't give you legal advice, and they won't give you legal advice, but they can tell you if you're in the right place for what you need to file. The probate court, the process is it's a county court. It's not a state court. A lot of its powers are statutory, and there's specific things in our statutes that say what the probate courts can and cannot do. So it's very important, again, that you get some good legal advice if you're involved in a case in probate court. The last court I want to talk about in Blount County is the juvenile court. And the juvenile court sits in a different building than the main courthouse. They sit in the Blount County Family Services Center, which is, to most people in Oneonta of a certain age, it's the old hospital. and it is down US 75, about a mile and a half, I would say, from the main courthouse, and it sits off the highway a little bit. There's a new Zaxby's restaurant there in front of it. The health department is nearby, but it's called the Family Services Center. And the front entrance would take you into the juvenile court, and the juvenile court clerk will be just to your left as you come in. Juvenile probation will be to your left, and then down the hall to the left would be the juvenile courtroom. You have to understand that juvenile cases in Alabama are all sealed, so to speak. They're not available for the general public. Not anybody can come into the juvenile court and just sit down and watch a case involving some friends of theirs. If you're not a party to it or you've not been subpoenaed as a witness, they're generally not going to allow you into the courtroom, and you have to wait outside or in the lobby. But if you're coming to file things like a dependency, a child that is not being cared for by parents, or was without a parent who's able to care for them for whatever reason, maybe the parents have died unexpectedly, maybe they're ill, or maybe they're just not taking care of their kids and there are other problems. Filing dependency cases is done in the juvenile court. Also, there are other non-civil matters involving crimes committed by juveniles that are handled by our juvenile court. But our juvenile court handles civil matters, dependency, children in need of supervision. There's lots of cases involving the Department of Human Resources in our juvenile courts. It's very important that if you get served with papers from a juvenile court, or you're looking to file something in the juvenile court, that you do try to seek an attorney. Now, if the state of Alabama is involved in your case, like DHR, files some petition against you over your children in a dependency, if you qualify by submitting an affidavit of substantial hardship, you may have the court appoint you an attorney. That's up to the court. That is not guaranteed in every case, and you have to otherwise qualify, and it's in the limited circumstances in the juvenile court. So again, there's a lot of exceptions and things I'm not getting into in this summary, but do know that opposed to the other courts I've been talking about, if you're in juvenile court and the state of Alabama has filed something, the court can, upon application, they don't just do it unless you ask for it and file the proper paperwork. If you qualify, you can be appointed an attorney to represent you under certain circumstances. But again, if you're served with something in the juvenile court, generally that summons is going to require you answer within 14 days. It's very important you take these deadlines in every court seriously, because bad things can happen if you ignore it or are just late or forget about it. And some things can go wrong for you very quickly if you don't meet these deadlines. So I encourage you to get advice, to talk to people about, talk to people you know about attorneys that may handle cases like you have, and try to find somebody that is a good fit for you, that can help you and answer any detailed questions about your case. Don't be afraid about coming to Blount County for a civil court case. Our judges and their staff and the clerk's office under our clerk, Cindy Massey, are very professional and friendly people that are they can't give you legal advice. They can't do that. But they're going to try to direct you about what you have to do if you're going to file something or respond to something. They can't give you legal advice, but they will be as helpful as they possibly can be. So with that, I hope this is helpful to you if you have a court case in Blount County, Alabama.